Hello everyone! Just before we start, I want to introduce all my lovely guests, aka friends, aka cousins, basically my family. So let's start off with dear Chandelier. She is the oldest one of us all. She is 19 and also an inspiration to all of us. The Madhuri Dixit of MCS UK. Her dancing is so mesmerizing you could spend hours watching it. A real life example of what you would call beauty and brains all in one. So look forward to hearing her thoughts. Next up is Hardik Shandilia. He is 13 years old. I have known him since we were both very young, and since the moment we met, we have been causing trouble. He is my partner in crime, and if there is a mess nearby, just know Gulu and I have something to do with it. Devansh Jha. He is also 13 years old, but he is the youngest of us all. Many know him and I as Tom and Jerry, but let's just say, this friendship went from Gabbar and Thakur to Jay and Viru. Maybe not that extreme, but you get the gist. And lastly, I'm today's host, Archisha Jha, aka Kushi. I am 15 years old. Today we will be talking about our dual identities and how we are all Methils living in London. We will also touch on the fact about how it can be a bit hard to balance both our lives. Hopefully, I will be able to keep you all entertained, and so let's get straight into it. प्रणाम सबको टके हमर नाम भेल आर्चिशा झा और हम ई चिट चैट शो कर रहल छी अपन फ्रेंड संगे
प्रणाम हमर नाम भेल दिया शांडिलिया
प्रणाम हमर नाम छै गुल्लू
प्रणाम हमर नाम छै प्रीत
We will be talking about our Methil/British lives, aka our dual identities. We will try to answer a few misconceptions people have about our lives, and we will hopefully be able to connect to some of our younger viewers, and they can relate to us. I am not going to take too much of your time, and so let's dive right into the questions. The first question is, do you think we live with dual identities? I'm going to hand this one over to Dia Didi. So please, could you let me know your thoughts?
Yes, of course. I believe we have more than two identities actually, because no one can ever say that their behavior is homogenous, their behavior is the same around everybody, because we present ourselves to different people with a different attitude, and we try to show a different side of ourselves to another group of people. And over time, the way humans have learned to adapt, we've also learned to change our behavior. And because of this, our behavior is always different according to the situation. Your identity, the way I define it, is just who you are and what you stand for. But because we're given the choice of choosing what we choose to present, I believe that makes us show different sides of our identity to people. And in my opinion, that can be more than one, more than two, more than any type of identity, because when you're given the choice, you will choose to alter it in any way you want to.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And could you please tell us how this applies to, like, in the sense of our Methil and British lives?
Yeah. So it simply comes down to my Methil identity not understanding or having any sort of correlation with my British identity. You know, like I'll be in school and I will not be behaving the same way. Well, I'm not in school anymore. Oh my God, I'm not in school anymore. I'll be with my friends and not all of them are Indian. And the way, even if they are Indian, I won't be the same with them as I am with my parents. So it's sort of like at school, or not at school anymore, at university or with my friends, I'll say please and thank you. And that's just very different to what I'm like at home, because at home my dad tells me, don't say please, don't say thank you. We don't have all these formalities and this etiquette in our house. We just don't have this, because that's not the way it is in my Methil identity. And the thing is, I don't even need to look too far when it comes to trying to find differences between these two identities, because it's simply, I just need to look, 1 centimeter ahead and I see my name. Like, British people can't even say my name properly, so if they can't even say my name properly. How can I try and find any sort of similarities between the two and try to put them together? So with my Metal and British identity, I don't even know how to map those two onto one sort of plate and be like, here you go. Because I don't think I can do that. I haven't managed to so far.
And I think we're very lucky to be able to have these two identities, because it's almost like we're able to live two lives, and both the lives have their own ups and downs, pros and cons. And I think we're all so lucky to be able to experience all of that.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you. Every side has its own beauty, and you get to feel like a different person, whether that is a bad thing or a good thing. You get to feel like a different person, and honestly, it makes your life so interesting because I've had so many friends tell me, Dia, I'm so jealous. Like, you get to look amazing in your cultural clothes, you have all these extra functions, whereas we just have Christmas and Easter. And I'm here like, well, I've got Diwali, I've got Chad, I've got all of these things they can't even imagine having because they don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much answered that question, and just want to say I love the way you answered that. I think you touched every point as well as anybody could, and I hope all our viewers were able to relate to that, and I'm sure you all understood that to its greatest depth. So shall we go on to our next question? So have we managed to merge our two lives? And if yes, then how? So Hardik, I'm going to hand this one to you.
Well, I think pretty much the answer is no, because our two identities, they're too different. I think they're just too different so that they can relate. Because because I'll never be able to explain to my friends why my grandma stands in a swimming pool singing songs to the sun, but nor will I ever be able to explain to her why we have a tree in our house, especially in December. So I don't think we can ever really merge our two lives together. And second, I don't think we actually have two lives because our culture, it's not a separate life. It's just part of who we are. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. So do you think that's a bad thing that we aren't able to merge the two lives, or do you think it's a good thing?
I think in some ways it's bad, but I think in some ways it's quite cool because, like you said earlier, we can. It's like we have two lives, like you said, ups and downs, pros and cons. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, and yeah, and but in some ways it's bad because when one of my friends or my nan asks me a question, I just won't be able to answer it very well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Do either of you have any different or opposing thoughts?
Not really. I agree with what you said. Yeah.
So I think kind of feeding off with that question, have we ever felt embarrassed of our Metal or British lives? And I'm going to let you answer this one.
Personally, I don't think there is any need to be embarrassed about it. I haven't felt embarrassed by it at all, mainly because of the fact that I find it very cool that we have two lives, because some people just have that one person that they are, and they never can express any other type that they are, so they're just the same person. So I feel that it's quite nice to be able to have two lives, and yeah.
Yeah, completely agree. But I also felt when I was younger, I used to be so embarrassed to step out in like a lehenga or like a kurta or anything, and I'd pray in my mind like I don't want to meet any of my like white friends. And now I think about it and I'm like, I wish I meet the world when I wear this, because I feel so silly that I was ever embarrassed of my culture. And I think MCS UK has definitely helped me own my culture, because doing all these wonderful projects for the Facebook page, and even in when we used to have our Mitla like function, doing the plays, the songs, the everything, it's made me feel like our culture is so beautiful and we should never shy away from showing it to everyone. And it is definitely something worth showing off. So, yeah.
I completely agree with that. MCS UK has really helped us come out of our shells if we were ever in our shells, which I definitely was too, because just like you, I did not want a single soul to see me in my lehenga. I didn't want anybody to see me with a bindi up here. No, no, no. I would not post any pictures like that. And just the other day, I posted this dance to a Hindi song, and I was saying to my friends, if somebody told me to do that just 10 years ago, I would be like, no, I'm deleting Instagram, I'm deleting myself from this world, I'm going bye bye bye. But now it's just like, I'm so proud of it that I didn't even second guess it. I didn't even go, oh, but what are people going to say? Because I'm so proud of it now, and I tell everybody about our MCS UK functions because they are something to be proud of. You know, what do they not have? They have food, dance, people, ambience. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I miss them so much.
Same. I loved going there, like getting dressed up for
Yeah.
one function. Oh, it was amazing. I can't wait for like all this to go away and we can go back to that annual function. So I think we kind of touched on this question, but I'm gonna ask the others to expand on it a bit. But were there any other ways that you overcame your embarrassment of this culture?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't wake up one day and think, oh, I'm not embarrassed of the way I am anymore. I'm not embarrassed that I, put coconut oil in my hair before I go and shower. I definitely didn't wake up and think, you know what, I'm very proud of myself today. No, it was a slow and steady grind. It was sort of like keep working at it, keep working at it. I think I went through a major phase in like year 9, year 10, I think, of completely wanting to whitewash myself. And I just think halfway through the whole process, not that it was a process, it was just sort of like, I want to be a white girl. It was quite literally that. And halfway through it, I remember in year 9 or year 10, I was just like, this is so pathetic. I'm so pathetic. Why am I trying to be different? Why am I trying to be the same as everybody? Sorry. When I was made to be different. I wasn't born like this. I was made to be different. And I can't try and fit in with everybody when I was designed to not be the same as everybody. There's a point here and I'm missing the point. And I've literally hated myself for missing the point for so long. But I remember in school, we all had all these Indian kids, Asian kids, whatever, and we'd be in the changing rooms, we'd just be like, we'd pretend to be white there. And I don't know what happened, but after year 10, we all just started discussing, how was your Holi, how was your Diwali? And everybody went through that phase. And we talked about it way after this whole time. We talked about it. And we were all like, we all went through this phase. Nobody can say that they didn't go through this phase of hating their culture, not wanting to be seen with their parents. And I have, obviously, you guys know I have a blog, and I wrote in it, I hated being seen with my parents in the Tesco World Foods aisle, because with 10 bottles of Maggie sauce in my mum's trolley, I hated that. I did not want anybody to see me there. And now I'm just like, well, this Maggie sauce is amazing. You need to get some. Yeah.
I think it was actually like, because I remember things like calling our rotis and chapatis like flatbread. And then when we used to talk about Holi, we used to, rather than actually explaining the proper side to it. We'd just be like, oh yeah, we just go and have fun and throw colours at each other. And it used to be like this. It's so much deeper than that. But we were never brave enough to explain it to people. So
yeah, you're right. We were never sort of like, here, listen to this thing about my life. We were always like, no, I'm the same as you. I celebrate Christmas, even though us four did not celebrate Christmas. We all know what we did during Christmas. We all had mutton curry, chicken curry, parents making gulab jamun at my house or your house or Preet's house. We didn't do that during Christmas, and I'm sure we did not call this little celebration that we had, we did not call it Christmas amongst us four.
yeah.
But when we went to everybody else, we said, yeah, I had a lot of fun with my cousins. It was just, I wish we explained to them, no, my Christmas celebration was probably better than yours.
With my dad dressing up as Santa and giving us some gifts.
Us pretending like we didn't know. Hardik did. Hardik thought that he was really Santa, didn't you?
You were so convinced he was Santa.
He was like, no, because they don't know that's Santa. What did you think, Hardik?
Well, I always believed him, but I guess it turned out to be wrong. First of all, Santa doesn't even exist. And
Oh no.
second, the dish uncle isn't even Santa, so that's just great.
Well, he used to give us gifts. I think that's all.
Oh,
Yeah, the gifts were
the gifts
nice.
we used to get as well.
There was like the little mini like sticky lip glosses.
Yeah.
Me and Preet got dinosaurs. Remember that? No,
Yeah.
no, the planes. Yeah.
Yeah, we got planes. I got a dictionary once, not gonna lie.
Parents.
And the cake Sorrow Uncle used to make.
Oh,
They were
amazing.
otherworldly, those cakes. Seriously, that cake that he made one time, this orange and chocolate cake.
Oh my god!
Seriously.
Was that your house, your old house?
My old house, yeah, our old house in Stanmore. That cake. I remember eating that cake after everybody had gone as well. This is mine. This is my
We
cake.
used to dance on Desi Girl. And
Oof.
Gulu used to drink like 5 glasses of Coke.
Yeah. Our Christmas
Yeah,
fun.
those were the good times.
Very good times.
So are we open to friends about our metal lives? Like not our metal friends, I mean like your white friends or non-metal friends.
Personally, I don't really talk about that because I just don't feel like, not out of lack of respect for the culture or not out of embarrassment. I just don't normally talk about that stuff, and I don't normally talk in general, to be fair. So I feel that if I did have if I was more social as a person, I would imagine that I definitely would. I do talk about it sometimes, but not as much as maybe other people would.
Yeah, I mean I guess that's fair, like but like as you said, it's not because you're embarrassed, it's just more that it never crops up into conversation. But I used to hate in like RS when like Hinduism used to pop up and we talk about Diwali. And like all the teachers and the students would look at me and I'd be like, no, I don't celebrate it. And
In the house, it's not a thing. Oh yeah, sure. No, that was me.
Yeah, it's actually really sad that we had to like at that young age when all the white kids or like / Christian kids would talk about Christmas and Easter so openly and would just talk about the Easter eggs they get, and we couldn't talk about the lovely laddus we used to eat at Christmas, Diwali, and it was sad that we weren't able to share our culture from a young age. I think what do we think is like the best thing about each identity? Like I'm gonna ask Gullu, what do you think what's your favorite thing about our metal identity?
Well, my favorite thing about my Mathil identity, I think it would be the variety of things we could do. So especially the plays for me, because I love acting. The plays for me, because there's so many different ways you can express yourself in that. Yeah, I really like the plays. And I'm not gonna lie, I also really love the food because having a dual personal identity is really cool because you get to do so many different things. So my favorite thing about my mathematical identity, I'd say, would definitely be the variety of things we can do and the food.
Yeah. I'm gonna remember the play we did, I think last year, where I was
Yeah.
I think Durga and you were Mahisasur, and I had to kill you.
Yeah,
It was so funny.
Yeah.
And Preet, what do you think's like your favorite thing about your British life?
The favorite thing about my like British life is the fact that it's like coming to England was like opening a theoretical door to just a whole bunch of new experiences, like being able to celebrate Christmas in a way, mainly because it was my birthday and it was amazing, right? And yeah, it was just quite cool to be able to do new things that like trying out burgers and stuff. Don't get me wrong, India is great as well, but having the ability to do that and have Indian food is just like an otherworldly experience almost.
Yeah, 100%. I think when I moved, I mean, I've been living here since I was 1, but I like, because I know culture here and I know culture in India, and because I normally go to India at Christmas times, like December, so around Christmas I always used to be at my Nana Papa's house, my mum's side's house, and I did this thing where I used to throw a tantrum if no one bought me presents and no one got a Christmas tree. And I used to tell my mama, because I'm like my mama's like little, I'm just so pampered in that house. I could say anything and I'll get it in 10 minutes. And so we used to go out, buy a Christmas tree, get decorations, we used to choose a gift and they'd wrap it, and it was amazing to be able to almost like combine both the cultures in India and here. I love that. I don't know about, because obviously Leah Didi, you lived in India till you were 7 or?
Yeah, 7. I mean, I did complete nursery here. So we came here when I was 3. Hardik obviously wasn't born. And I picked up an English accent and everything, but I barely remember that. We were in Nottingham. My parents remember that, of course. I don't remember it. But for me, my fundamental growing up years have been spent in India, playing in the mud, eating kurkure and speaking Hindi, and not actually knowing how to speak English, which is something I had to pick up here. So, yes, I came here when I was 6 or 7. I don't remember exactly.
Did you find it hard to transition from like being from your like metal / Indian life in India and here? Like, how hard was it for you?
Oh, that was really hard. So long story short, basically got bullied. I've had to deal with a lot of racism over the years. I think it might have been a little bit less than you guys, a little bit more than you guys, because when you guys went to school, I remember Hardik not going through as much as I went through, but probably because he knew how to speak English. But with me, I did not know anything. I had to have this translator person help me out. Maths I obviously got, which is why I absolutely love maths, because maths I always got. It's the same every year, everywhere, sorry. But with English, I had to have this translator person, and everybody thought I was mute and deaf. And that was literally,
Sorry.
imagine, mute and deaf. And you know, I found this out when I went into high school. I did think people always said, oh, she's deaf, but I didn't understand what that meant at that time, because I didn't even know what the word deaf meant. I was like, why is this person always saying I'm deaf? I'm deaf. I asked my mum, and literally went and told her, I was like, someone just wanted to say death, you can't then. My mum. It was deaf. And the whole time I was like, why do they keep saying I'm deaf? They thought I was mute, but I had a really lovely teacher. And because I was only 6 or 7, it only took me about 6 months to learn English. And my parents say by the time I was in year 2, I was fluent, had an accent and everything. So I didn't struggle after that. But in the beginning, it was really hard. I had this best friend called Fiza. She was Pakistani. And I was only able to communicate with her and the translator lady, and that was it. And do maths. That was my life. Didn't know how to do anything. I knew how to read, but how to speak properly, no. So I did really struggle with that. Yeah.
I think it's really cool how you were able to like not lose your Indian metal self, but then also learn how to adapt into a whole different country.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Definitely has. Yeah.
And I read one of your blogs, I think it was the first one you wrote, maybe, the one where you whitewashing our culture. And there was this one line that really like, I don't know why, but it really like touched my soul. It was the one where it was like, I don't know why I feel like I'm not allowed to post pictures of my steaming I think it was butter chicken. And I was like, I related to this so much because my mum / dad, they both make such amazing food, and I want to like take a picture and send it to all my group chats, but I can only do that when I make or they make pasta or like lasagna or things like that. And it's just horrible that we even at a point we all started to consider that British lives are superior to our metal lives.
You're right. I literally could not agree with you more, which is why we really don't ever post pictures of this butter chicken. But that's the problem. We inflict this upon ourselves. We think we are bad, we are uncool, we need to be like this. Nobody else cares. That's the thing. Like, nobody else cares. They don't care what you do. And yes, some people are racist. They will come at you for saying this. Like, I've had at uni, right? This girl is 19 years old, and she hasn't learned basic skills of communication and etiquette, and she said spices are smelly. You know, that kind of stuff is just not tolerated now. But before, people could say that and get away with it. I mean, I don't know if I told you guys or not, but when I was in year 7, I got put into this group chat called Fish Curry, and guess who was in it? It sounds really stupid, fish curry, like why would they even do that? But all the brown people in the class were in this fish curry group chat. So Watford girls, Parmiters, Queens, Rickies, all of our local school area. They collected all the Indians, and we were all in this fish curry group chat. And all that was going on was just rubbish. Like, it was just nonsense talk. It was unbelievable. And now I think, imagine if that kind of thing happened right now, it would not be tolerated at all. So yeah, no, it's been a hell of a journey.
Yeah. I think Preet and Gulu, you're, I mean, not that far apart, so you're the youngest. So how do you think racism towards yourself, like, do you think racism has affected your social journey?
Well, the thing is, I've never really had any racism towards me, but I don't know what the word for it is, but people have always kind of had assumptions about me because I'm Indian.
Stereotype.
So it's stuff like you eat curry all day, and it's like, and it's just loads of things. It's like you're a whiz at maths, you're a genius at maths, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's sometimes, like, some of them are true, most of them aren't true.
Yeah.
So I've never really had direct racism against me. No, not racism, but yeah, I have had
Comment.
prejudice against me.
Yeah. What about you, Preet?
Yeah, pretty much a similar experience to Hardik, just not like full-blown racism or anything, just some rather interesting stereotypes thrown towards me, which I feel aren't really true. Like as Hardik said, you're a whiz at maths, you eat curry all day. That's just some rather interesting theories about what I do.
Yeah.
I'd just own it. I'd be like, yeah, I am good at maths, and what? That's what I used to say. Well, I'm better than you, so.
Exactly. And I wish I could eat curry all day. You know, like our curries are damn good, and you wish that you could eat our curries all day.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
I think it's funny, like the reason I think we're all laughing right now is because it's genuinely hilarious to look back at and feel like, how did we all just tolerate it and just let people say that to us? Because now if someone says it, we would take a huge stand for ourselves.
Yeah. I still can't believe I tolerated that much rubbish. Like,
Yeah.
even just recently, I was in year 12 or something, and this Indian girl, so I was having a driving lesson, failed my driving test, basically because of her, right? So she came into the car, and she was like, we were talking about, she was my age at college, and she said, oh, my name's this and that. I was like, yes, my name is this. And she goes, what are you doing for your A-levels? And before I even said anything, she went, oh, let me guess. Maths, physics, and something else. I was like so annoyed because I was like, of course she gets it right. But it's like even she has been influenced and whitewashed so much that she just assumes this about me. And I'm like, well, you're probably doing the same thing. She goes, no, I'm doing architecture. Well, why? Why do these things exist? And why is it a bad thing to be good at maths or science or whatever it is if you're Indian? What is wrong with it? Like, it's just at the end of the day, you're good at your studies, you're good at what you're meant to be doing, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. And I've been called a coconut so many times, and it's so annoying because the people you hear it from are the people who said such comments to you that made you feel like you need to be like them, and then they're the ones calling you a coconut. So like, you choose what you want me to do. Either you want me to be brown or you want me to be white. And I think the word coconut, yeah, it can be used in funny situations, sorry. But overall, it's like, I get called a coconut when I say I can't handle spice, or I can't have extra hot at Nando's. And I'm like, what?
Really weird standards. The thing is, you've just got to remember, you will never fit into somebody's perfect. If this is just a thing, no matter what you do, you'll never make somebody happy. Whoever it might be, X, Y, Z, you'll never make them happy. You've just got to make yourself happy. And that is the hardest lesson to learn in terms of life, culture, identities, whatever it may be. You've just got to make yourself happy, because if you don't do this, somebody will call you a coconut. If you don't do this, well, you know, you're whitewashed. If you don't do this, you know, you're this. There's a billion other things that they'll call you. A lot of combinations. They just need to pick one. And if they see that you're affected by it, well, that is actually your loss, because they're winning there.
Something else I'd like to point out, as far as people making fun of us for spices and curries, let's just say India's recovery rate in the COVID-19 pandemic has been 70%, and yours is like, what? I don't even know.
20.
It's that 20%.
Yeah.
And so I think, so really, when they've been making fun of us all this time, but really it's been good for us this whole time.
Exactly.
Who's in Morrison's buying haldi now? You-
And I think in Sri Lanka the recovery rate is 90% actually. It's even more. So yeah.
Yeah, and the South Indian people in my school got teased even more because the thing is, it sounds bad to say, but I obviously had a Sri Lankan best friend, and their cooking smell is very strong because curry leaves go in there. You know, their food is just inherently it's very strong, and no matter what she did, she's also been this phase of wanting to be white, and no matter what she did, she would not be able to get rid of this coconut curry smell because she could literally bathe in perfume, but it would not go away. If you step into her house, you will be smelling like that for a few days. It's that strong. And she struggled with it even more. And I obviously had quite a lot of South Indian friends as well, and they faced even more racism. God knows what kind of stuff has been said to them. So, because they have their flavors are more strong, their culture is more strong. You know, they're just like everything is a lot, and they have to take on a lot as well. So I feel really bad for them.
And coming back to like our not only Indian but like our Metal lives, having think like the way Mathli, it's very hard to speak it in a English accent. Even like say Gullu, he's been so good at learning Hindi and Mathli, because I remember when we were younger, Gullu could not speak a word of Hindi, and if he did, it would be like the most. It would be really cute at the time, but it's increased and it's become so much better. But even so, like him having an English accent, him when he speaks Metley in like our plays, it never comes across as an English accent. And I think when people are like bully us about our accents, I think that kind of discourages us from even wanting to learn Metley and things. And it's really sad because I wish I was introduced to our metal culture sooner, because I would love to be fluent in Metley.
Something else as well. I think some of the credit should actually of me speaking Hindi and Mathli and stuff. I think some of the credit should go to our parents, because I think every single person who's foreign should always go to their country, their original country, so that they can. Because the only reason I actually know these languages is because when I went to India, when I went to India, my parents knew that this was an opportunity to get me to speak Hindi. So they did not speak to me in English; they just speak to me in Hindi. So I learnt myself how to speak it.
Wow.
Hardik would beg me on that holiday and be like, Didi, please speak to me in English. I don't understand anything. I'll be like, I'm not allowed. Mama will come and go. I was like, no. So I used to speak to him in Hindi. It was very hard for him that summer, but he was so busy and wanted to play with our cousins. He just went, no, I'm gonna learn it, and he did learn it.
Yeah.
He's very good at it now.
Very. My mum, every time Gullu speaks to her in Hindi, my mum, she's known Gullu since he was like this big, and it still shocks my mum, and she's so like happy and pleased with Gullu and like proud of him for being able to speak Hindi so well. Like, Gullu, remember we came to your house or something and my mum asked you a question in English, because I don't know why she asked you in English, but she asked you in English and you replied in Hindi, and she was on the way home in the car, she was like, Gullu kitna acha Hindi bol leta. And I was like,
Everyone says it about me. Everyone says that about me.
Because you truly have learned so well. It's commendable.
Oh no. Did you guys hear our parents? That is another thing about our culture. Of the other side of our identity, you've got to learn to not be embarrassed of this kind of stuff. I'm surprised our dad hasn't come in playing the harmonica and started singing Kishore Kumar songs. I'm really surprised. So proud of them.
I would 100% keep it in.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think we've answered the majority of questions. I think, if I do say so myself, I think we answered them pretty well. So I think I really do hope that all our answers and all our stories were able to reach you and you were able to connect with them. And I would like to thank Dia Didi, Gullu, Preet, aka Devansh and Hardik. Thank you all so much for doing this with me, and I do really appreciate you guys just being there. And I would also like to thank all you guys for watching, because I know all of us can get a little bit annoying and we do laugh a bit too much. But so thank you all for watching, and on behalf of all of us, I'd like to say Pranam Sabgotake. And to our younger viewers, I hope you were able to relate and you enjoyed this. So once again, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.